Hey guys, my name's RC and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna go over some of the best Valkyrie camera spots for Nighthaven Labs, Emerald Plains, Outback, Border, Skyscraper, Themepark, and Kanal. If you're only interested in one map in particular, I have included chapters in this video, so feel free to fast forward. Let's start with Nighthaven Labs. For the first camera, go to the rafters stairs and throw a camera behind this bush right here. This will give you vision to outside and really good sound cues to anyone walking up the stairs, all while being really well hidden behind this bush. For the second cam, it's nothing too fancy, just throw a camera in this corner in electrical over here. This will of course give you a good view of any attackers pushing through here, and it is a bit of a dark spot, so it's a little bit hidden from view. To throw a much sneakier camera for electrical, run downstairs to lounge, stand in front of this double door, shoot open the ceiling directly above you around this spot, and throw the camera here. This camera will land underneath this cart thingy and it will give you an excellent view of electrical, and it's extremely difficult to spot. In connector, throw a camera in this corner behind the plant like this. You won't see too much, but it is very useful for sound cues as well as to keep an eye on the breach for when the objective is upstairs. You can also throw a camera high up in lobby like this, which will of course give you vision to lobby as well as the meeting hallway, and this camera is so high up that people usually don't check there for cameras, so it should be safe so long as you don't red ping them. If you would like to keep an eye on the cafeteria breach, throw a camera in this little spot in this hallway like this, and this will give you the perfect vision to anyone who is playing here. Inside cafeteria itself, there are a lot of tables that you can throw cameras underneath, and they are very difficult to spot, but they give some really good information. On screen, I am showing you some of my personal favorite spots here, but feel free to experiment with these and try to find spots that work best for you, but in general, you can't go wrong with these. Downstairs, when playing the assembly objective, throw a camera between the bomb chassis and this desk. It will give you vision on anyone walking through the breach as well as the default plant spot. Some people might notice this one and shoot it, but overall this is a very decent camera spot if you want to place it in the objective. Moving on to Emerald Plains, in waiting room you can throw a cam underneath this chair over here, and this will give you a really good view of the breach to keep an eye on anyone trying to walk in, and it's very well hidden. In CEO, stand behind this chair and throw a camera onto this chandelier like this. You will be able to see most of the room with the exception of the window, but you can still hear sound cues and call them out to your team. It's not the most hidden camera out there, but it should survive long enough for you to get some valuable information from it. A very sneaky alternative to that camera can be thrown from reception. To do this, go to the reception desk and stand right in front of this thingy with the text on it, take a step or two back, shoot the ceiling directly above you, and throw. If done properly, this camera will land underneath the desk and it will give you valuable information, and it's basically impossible to spot. You can also throw a camera in the hunting hall on this chandelier as well. With this camera, you will be able to rotate it 360 degrees, so you will be able to see the entire room, and it also blends in really well. For library, it's pretty straightforward. Shoot the book off the shelf and throw it here. This is not the most hidden camera out of the bunch, but if it goes unnoticed, it should give some really good information. If that camera gets found, you can throw an alternative here. This camera will of course give you vision to library as well as a little bit of downstairs, and it is also hidden from anyone walking in from the hunting hall, but other than that, it's pretty visible, so be mindful of that. In pantry, you can place one on this metal beam right here on the ceiling. Unfortunately, with this camera you will not be able to see the breach itself, but you will be able to see anyone walking in, which is very important when playing in kitchen, and it's also really well hidden, so it will be completely safe. In the pool room, stand up on the pool table and place a camera right here on the light in the middle. This will give you vision on most of the room and most importantly the breach, and it is very unlikely for it to get noticed when the attackers are walking in. Moving on onto Outback, for the first one, head into office and break open this cabinet right here and place one inside. For this, it might be easier to either ask an Aruni to break it for you or somebody else with a shotgun. This camera will give you a lot of valuable information on what is happening inside office. The broken cabinet might give it away, but it is very unlikely it will get spotted. If you didn't know, you can also place a camera on top of the wall separating bull and party, and I promise you, so long as you don't red ping them, they will not be looking up here for a camera. An alternative for that camera for party and bull is right here on these colored spotlights. Of course, you will have a really good view of the room, and they also become a little bit hard to see in the heat of of the moment since the spotlights are a light source. I would highly recommend you at least give these spots a shot. You can also feed jaws over here. This is not a fancy camera by any means, but it gets the job done. In waiting room, you can throw a very sneaky camera right here in the wall right next to the truck. This is a very straightforward but effective spot, and it will give you full vision on waiting room, and it is very well hidden. Now moving on to border, for the first cam you can place one on the side of this vent right here above the armory door. This is a very simple one, but it's very effective. It will enable you to keep an eye on the breach and the door, the default plant, as well as anyone who might be pushing from there. This is also a really good spot for when you are playing downstairs and want to stop them from creating verticals from armory, because it will make it easier for you to get cheeky kills with your C4. On metal stairs, there are these little light bulbs that are really good for hiding cameras. You will have a very clear view of both the top and bottom metal stairs, and people don't usually check this spot for cameras, so I would highly recommend you try this one out. Go to CCTV and place one underneath this desk as far back as you can. Unfortunately, you will not be able to see a lot of the window, but if you place it properly, you should be able to just see enough to be able to get information that you need. It doesn't provide any information on anyone behind the desk, but you can still hear sound cues and call them out to your team. Now, this one is a classic. Go to detention and shoot open this part of the ceiling and throw a camera through. Then run back upstairs to CCTV and shoot the screens. And then you will have a common but very effective camera spot to watch if anyone entered CCTV. In the nighty hallway on the left of the east stairs door, throw a camera at this spot. This will give you vision on office, it will give you vision on the triple wall breach, the archives breach, and mezzanine all at the same time. This is an excellent spot and nobody really checks for this. This one is another common one. Just toss it here on the small little window close to the ceiling. You will be able to see lobby as well as the hallway. It usually gets checked, but if it doesn't, then it can provide some really good information for when you're playing downstairs. Just like the ones on metal stairs, the light bulbs in workshop also work really well for hiding cameras. This one gives you an amazing view of the bomb site, and because of the light coming from the light bulb, it is very well hidden. You can place one on whichever light bulb on the map that you'd like. There's also another really good one in the bathroom next door. In customs, throw a camera right here in this corner as far as you can. With this camera, you will be able to see if anyone walks into customs, metal stairs, or even servers, and the camera itself is quite well hidden. Moving on to Skyscraper, in office, place a camera at the bottom of this light over here. At first glance, this will look like it's a part of the map, and when the objective is here, it will give some really valuable information on the breach, as well as any attacker that is planting inside. If attackers are being vigilant though, they will spot this camera because it is technically in the open, so be mindful of that. For the next one, head next door into lounge and place the camera on this shelf over here facing up so it will blend in better. With this, you will be able to keep an eye on lounge for when you're playing upstairs, and from a distance, it looks like it's a part of the map. Make your way towards shrine and place a camera in this corner over here. With this spot, you will be able to have information on if anyone is coming towards tea room from either dragon or mezzanine, and because it's in a dark corner, it is very well hidden and it will most likely survive the whole round. Go to drums, stand on this table and place a camera inside this light here. This is a very good camera to keep an eye on drums, and it's practically impossible to spot if you're not already aware that it's there, so I highly recommend you give this one a shot in your next game. In tea room, go to this cabinet and shoot open the bottom of it all around and place your camera here. This is a very sneaky spot for when having the objective here, and you will be able to see a lot of tea room. I would highly recommend that you get an Aruni or any operator with a shotgun to open this up for you if possible, as it would make it a lot easier. Go to the bar and place a camera over here by the bottles on this shelf like this. This camera won't give you a ton of information and it's also not the most hidden, but if you need to keep an eye on if anyone's pushing from pantry on their way to kitchen, then this is a good option. Right across from the sushi bar, there is this little fish statue, and you can give it a little googly eye with one of your cameras, and at first glance it will look like it's part of the map. Of course, this camera is hidden in plain sight, so it is in the open. However, you will be able to see quite a bit, so it's worth giving it a shot. Moving on to Themepark, for the first one, throw a camera right here in this corner in the waiting room. This will give you vision on the waiting room itself, as well as bottom dragon and anyone coming out of the maintenance door. If that camera gets found, an alternative is this one right here. You can basically see the same things minus the waiting room, just from a slightly different position, but it is just as effective. In the hallway outside waiting room, you can place one right here in this vending machine. You will be able to see anyone walking by, and I seriously highly doubt anyone will check for this, but it is really visible for anyone coming from bunker. An alternative to that camera is right here underneath the vending machine next to it. Just go prone right next to the vending machine and throw. It should fit right underneath. Anyone coming from top arcade or yellow will not be able to see this camera at all. However, again, it is a little visible for anyone coming from bunker as well as daycare, but you should be able to get a lot of valuable information from both these cameras. Just like the ones on border, there are these lights that you can attach a camera to and they will blend in really well. There is one here and there is also one here. There might be more on the map, and if there is, you can definitely attach a camera on them and they will work perfectly fine. I don't really have anything fancy for cafe, just throw a camera in this corner right here and try to play with C4s underneath to hopefully get some free picks when attackers are pushing in. Nothing too crazy. In maintenance, place a camera at the back on this wall over here. This camera is very well hidden thanks to these bumper cars, and you will still be able to get some pretty good information on the breach for when you're playing in throne room, as well as the rest of the room in general. In throne room, there is this spotlight just like the ones we have seen in Outback, and just like those ones, you can place a camera on these and they will blend in really well thanks to it being a light source. You will be able to practically see the whole room and it's very effective, though if attackers know about it, it is kind of in the open. In armory, place a camera in this little spot right here. This will give you vision on if anyone is pushing split, and it can be very effective in clutching situations when you need to give information to a teammate, as this is often a high traffic area. And finally, moving over to Kanal, in 90, place a camera right here on the ceiling. This will make the camera basically bulletproof from the green hallway, all while maintaining perfect vision on the green hallway itself, as well as a little bit of the red hallway, but it's not completely hidden. For it to be destroyed, it has to be shot from underneath or the red hallway. In the control room, you can place a camera right here in this little gap. With this camera, you'll be able to see the sky bridge, the control room itself, the radar room, as well as the doorway to servers, all while not being super visible to the attackers. In scuba, place a camera on the vent between these two bags right here. You will be able to see all of scuba, as well as if someone comes up the ladder or comes through the window, and the camera is not that obvious, so you should be able to get a lot of information with this. If you want an alternative to that, you can throw it here. This will by no means give you as much vision, and you will need to rely on sound cues to give callouts. But if you communicate with your team, this could be very effective, just not as much as the other one. In the hallway, there is a gap between the vent and the wall that is really good for hiding a camera. To do this, go right in front of the locker's door, look up, and throw it in this little corner right here. With this camera, you will be able to see a good portion of the hallway, and the camera is basically completely hidden from view. I really recommend giving this one a try in your next ranked game. In meeting room, get on top of this desk, aim a little bit above this plant, and throw. This will land in the middle of the plant and it will give you a good enough view of the room, and it is really well hidden. It will take a few tries to get right the first few times, but once you get it down, it can be very effective for when trying to deny verticals. And that's all the cameras I have for you today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.